Today's video, I'm going to go over the 10 things any trader in Grow Garden needs to stop doing to actually see progress and get your first dragonfly or your first kitsune or your first Titanic pet, whatever you want. I promise you, by the end of this video, you follow these 10 things, you are going to be one of the best traders you could ever imagine. This is how you get rich in Grow Garden. Watch to the end, and now let's get into the video. Trading is a very delicate game, and it's a very important part of Grow Garden. It's how you get these pets that you need for grinding events and just generally becoming better at the game. However, I see a lot of people make these 10 common mistakes, starting off with taking the first offer you see. And now the one after this is going to kind of correspond with this. But what exactly does this mean? Taking the first offer that you see. Let's say you have a dragonfly, okay? So, this dragonfly right here, I could be offered 3 blood owls and a corrupted kitsune as my first offer. Now, I can either take that, and even though that's a bit of an underpay, I can still take that. You can take any offer. Or you can actually wait out, see what other people offer for your dragonfly, and possibly take those offers instead and actually find an offer that suits you better. Now, a tip for finding offers for pets that you're not really sure the value of. Let's say the Shiba Inu right here. You know, I really want to get a T-Rex for it, but I don't know if we can get a T-Rex. How do I know its value? Well, I have value guides on my channel, but they don't go that deep because this is very, very, specific. What you can do is you try to find other people with Shiba Inus this size. If that is on Discord servers, or what I do personally, server hopping. Server hopping works pretty good, and it's the easiest one out of the options. You just want to find someone with a huge Shiba Inu, or a very rich player with a ton of huges, and what you want to do is you just want to say, hey, I'll give you 2 dragonflies for this, or blah, blah, blah. And as soon as they say, okay, I'll do that, then you take it. Okay, so also highly recommend, if you just want the base values, checking out my videos on my channel and another great YouTuber out there, Roblox. Very good, very knowledgeable player, and I learn a lot of my knowledge from him, so massive shout out to Roblox. Go follow him on YouTube, amazing guy. But that's the first tip. But now the second tip kinda doesn't really go with that, but I'll need to explain. It's holding out too long on your trades. And this only applies to one aspect of Grow Garden, and that is events. So each week there's an event, or bi-weekly there's an event, and then every week after that there is the event part 2. So currently we are in the fairy event. Let's say you get the new chest or the new egg as soon as the update comes out, and you place it down, you hatch it, and you get the 1% pet from it. What do? Well, a lot of people obviously are like, oh, it's brand new, it's going to have so much value. Correct. But don't be afraid to take the first offer you see. You might see, oh, this guy got a raccoon for it, but this guy's only offering me a disco bee. I should try to wait out until I can get a raccoon. Don't do it. A disco bee is way more profit than waiting out too long and actually not profiting at all from it. I did this with griffins. I was offered 2 dragonflies because I got it right when the update came out. And I was like, here's a griffin. This guy offered me 2 dragonflies. I was like, I think this can get more. I think this is more like a butterfly, Spinosaurus, that type of stuff. Waited out too long, and I ended up trading it for 4 chicken zombies, which completely lost value. So guys, be very, very careful, and make sure to trade away your new pets as soon as you can. Now, this directly leads into the next tip that you need to stop doing, and that is trading for divines. T-Rexes, mimics, dragonflies, Spinosauruses, all that stuff is not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about are pets that should not be called divines. Those are French fry ferrets. Those are lobster thormidors. Those are corrupt kitsunes. I know it's a prismatic, but it shouldn't even be called a prismatic. And griffins, and all that stuff. And you probably notice a trend. And what is that trend exactly? These are all event pets. Now, similar to tip 1, I said don't hold out too long. You want to do that because there's a pattern here. All event pets lose value within the first few days. But if you get one super quickly, you just want to take the first offer you see as long as it's reasonably good and you would be proud of doing it. You're obviously not going to take a red fox for the brand new pet, but you should be fine with a couple decent divines, and don't try to just get a raccoon. Because tip 3, what I'm saying is these divine pets might be considered decent divines as soon as the update comes out, but after a few days, they lose all their value and they're completely worthless, and stop trading for them because there's no value and there's no demand, and pro traders understand that they are not worth anything. Occasionally, you might be able to find a random person in a public server willing to give like a dragonfly for it. Doesn't mean that that's going to always happen. More times than not, you're not going to be able to find that trade, and when you do, don't hesitate to take it. Now, that is tip number 3, or not tip, but really something you need to stop doing right now. I'm telling you, if you keep trading for these, I'm gonna say it, awful divine pets that have no value. And I know a lot of people are like, whoa, this, that, I was able to get that, I was able to get this. That's not what they're actually worth. I could literally trade my kitsune right now for a raccoon. One singular raccoon. Does that mean it's worth a raccoon? No. Same way the other way around. I could trade a raccoon for a kitsune. Finding the right person. That's not what it's worth. So be careful with the pets that are labeled divines. Now the next tip is a tip I don't really hear any YouTubers talking about. You really have to be an experienced trader and really understand how this works. Stop trading based on what you could get and more what you can absolutely know for a fact get. That is how you actually make profit on every one of your trades. Stop basing it off of, oh, I got this huge pet right here, which I'll talk about later. Huge dairy cow. I did this trade once. A golden raccoon, normal raccoon, and 2 huge dairy cows for my kitsune, which was pretty good size. I know the raccoons were great. Huge dairy cows, I thought I could get like 2 butterflies for them. Boom. That's like a raccoon and disco bee when they only went for like 2 raccoons and a dragonfly. I thought I was genius. But those huge dairy cows, they could get a butterfly. Very small likelihood. I should have based it off of, I know those huge dairy cows can get a T-Rex. If I find the right person, I can easily get a T-Rex, dragonfly, or mimic for them. That's what I know for a fact. I did not know for a fact I could get a butterfly. That's what I was hoping. That's what I thought I could get. Very ideal circumstances, I could get that. That's not what's going to happen. That is not what's going to happen. More times than not, you are making trades where you don't know exactly what you could get, or what you know you could get, and you're basing it off of what you could get. Yes, I could get a raccoon for my dragonfly. Could. You don't know that. You could make much higher likely chance of getting a mimic for it. So keep that in mind, and base your trades off of what you know you can get. Because what you know you can get is actually the profit you are making, and that's how you profit it. Because later on, you can just base it off of what you could get, and some people base their values off of that. Hopefully that made sense. It's very complicated. But now, let's move on to the next tip. And these are very, very interesting tips I don't hear many people talking about, but these little things really, really help. And that is not changing how you value things. Obviously, pets are going to lose value up and down, but you need to kind of have a base on how you value things. You can use my method, which is the dragonfly raccoon method. Not like using the pets, but I'm using the pets as a currency example. You'll hear Roblox, you'll hear other YouTubers talk about it. Raccoon, dragonfly, currency. Kitsune is also becoming currency. But I don't want to trade, personally, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. I don't want to trade for stuff less than a dragonfly. If it's a T-Rex, that's okay. If it's a blood kiwi with a rainbow mutation, which I'll talk about later, that's okay. Unless it has a useful ability, I'm not really trading for pets worth less than like a dragonfly T-Rex area. So I view that dragonfly as my base, and I want to build up. So I'm keeping that dragonfly's value there, and I'm going to build up. Okay, 2 Spinosaurus, 2 dragonflies. A butterfly, 3 dragonflies. 2 butterflies equals a disco beast. See, I'm building up. I'm doing multiple dragonflies, so 3 times 2, 6 dragonflies for a disco bee. Okay? And now 2 Disco Bees gets a raccoon and a couple dragonflies. You see what I'm doing? I'm basing off all these items as the dragonfly raccoon method. So that means 8 dragonflies is 1 raccoon. So once I reach that Disco Bee plus the 2 dragonflies equals a raccoon, then I do 2 raccoons equals a kitsune. Very hard trade to find, so I throw in a dragonfly. Boom, that trade becomes a lot more realistic. So you kind of build up as I'm doing. And that is more of a middle high-end-ish trading example. But you can also do that with any pet, really, that you're trying to trade up. Let's say Dilophosauruses. Okay, 2 Dilophosauruses, I want to get a few seals. Boom, you are trading up. Okay, a few seals and a Dilophosaurus. You see, you need to have set prices for a few pets that you can compare all your other pets to. I compare a lot of these pets, these divine pets that aren't Titanic, Rainbow Mythics, whatever. I use dragonflies as my set in stone value, and I build off of that. Highly recommend finding that pet. And now, here is a interesting thing you need to stop doing. And it can really screw you up, and it can sometimes help you. But more times than not, screws you up. Okay, now I'm just going to say, trading down. You might not understand that. Trading down, you're not losing value, but you're trading down. That's like me saying, I have only 1 kitsune, but I already have some other divines. I'm going to trade down my current kitsune for even more divines. Why would you want to do that? You have 1 big pet right here. Why would you trade that down? You shouldn't, because you're actually losing out, because it's harder to trade up than it is trade down. Now let's say you got 4 kitsunes and you have no ads, so no pets you can really add, like divines that don't have too much value. That's when you trade down one of your red kitsunes for a bunch of divines. So be careful when you are trading down, and usually I recommend newer players, people just getting into trading, their ideal goal is always trading up. Right now, I'm not trading down my kitsune. I'm not trading down my Disco Bee. I'll trade down huges, but I want to trade up all these little divines for another Disco Bee, for a raccoon, 2 raccoons, and a Disco Bee Kitsune Gold. Okay, see what I'm doing? I'm trying to build up, and that's what you guys need to start doing. Now, you need to stop overpaying for pets for the most part, and I'll talk about what I mean by for the most part in a second. But stop overpaying for your basic pets. For say, don't overpay for your kitsune too much. Now, some people view an overpay differently than other people. I wouldn't really view adding a Dilophosaurus in a red kitsune trade as an overpay. But adding a Dilophosaurus in a trade for a, let's say, a dragonfly, that would be an overpay that we wouldn't want to do. So be very careful with overpaying. Try to never overpay, and always have your trades either be a W for you, that means you're paying less than what compared to what you're getting, or the trade just being completely fair and no one is winning or losing, and you're not really gaining any value or losing value. But that leads into the next thing, and that's stop being afraid to overpay when it's a big downgrade for the other person. Let's break down what that means. Stop worrying about overpaying. Okay, sounds really confusing compared to what I just said, but it's when you're doing a big downgrade. Okay, when the person you're trading with is downgrading pretty heavily for what you're giving, so that means you are giving a bunch of dragonflies, a bunch of mimics, and like a couple Spinosaurus for someone's red kitsune. That's when you kind of want to do an overpay. Throw in an extra dragonfly, throw in an extra mimic, because you kind of have to really seal the deal, because they could be getting raccoons instead, or Disco Bees, or more Spinosauruses and butterflies. So be very, very careful and not afraid to overpay when it comes to when the other person is receiving a downgrade. Now, obviously, you're not going to give an extra butterfly for it, but throw in an extra decent divine. You kind of have to do that to seal the deal and make the person want to do the trade even more. And now, second to last thing you need to stop doing, and that is caring about a pet's mutation. Oh my goodness. Hear too much. Oh, it has shocked. Oh, it has shiny. Not so much anymore. But I still hear it, and I don't like hearing it. Even people say it's rainbow, or it's mega, or it's tiny. No one's going to care about a mega dog. No one is. A mega griffin, some people might care. People care about rare divine pets when they're mega because they actually look cool. That's a mega kitsune, a mega raccoon, a mega mimic. Those look cool. They look really rare, really cool, cosmetic-wise. People want those. But be careful. You're not trading for a mega cooked owl. Don't overpay too much. Don't even overpay at all because you don't even want that pet. It has no value. Now, you could say let's see. Let's think of a pet. Your dog or your Shiba Inu. Actually, that's a bad example. But your ostrich. Good example, ostrich. It has rainbow on it. That means it's worth so much more. Not really. Or it has gold. It's not really worth that much more. Yeah, you might get between that 1 to 10 age, but you also can get that when you max out the ostrich. So be careful. Pets that you want rainbow on are really good divines where their abilities are really good, or like the Dilophosaurus or blood owls, stuff like that, where actually having its ability go quicker is actually useful. When the ability isn't really useful, there's really no point in having the passive be quicker with the rainbow mutation, so there's really no point in overpaying for them. Now, you're going to have to overpay for a Titanic rainbow peacock because, well, it being rainbow gets it that 15-second cooldown. So you got to think logically in that sense. And the last tip, which is going to be a tip you guys don't want to hear, but you need to stop overvaluing common huges. There was a point in time, a huge common dog. Oh my gosh, you have a huge common dog. That's so cool. It's worth so much. It's all that. It's not like that anymore. Common huges do not have that value. They don't have that demand. They are purely cosmetics. Now, if we're talking about huges like huge capybaras, that stuff, you know that stuff. You know that stuff is good. But if you're questioning, hey, is this ability actually useful? It's not useful. You will know if it's useful. Common huges do not have that value. I'm trying to trade mine. It's a pain. Unless you are receiving a common huge for really cheap, do not trade for them and stop overvaluing them. They might be valued at a butterfly, but like I said earlier, that's what you could get. But what you will get, maybe a T-Rex. Take the T-Rex. Take the dragonfly. Unless, this is the only time, unless you paid more for that huge. If you paid more for that huge, you want to either come break even, which is going to be really sad because you're wasting all this time just to break even, or profiting a little. A Dilophosaurus, a griffin, have no real value, but at least you're coming out with something. So you can get them to add something little. But yes, those are the last things you need to stop doing. Those are all the 10 things. If you stop doing, I promise you will become insanely rich and grow a garden. And you just got to make these connections. Server hop, I see it all the time. How do you find these trades? You need to not take the first offers you see. You need to be patient. You need the server hop. You need to put in the time. And you need to also put in the time to learn values. So check out my trading guide. Huge shout out to Roblox. Make sure to check out his value guides too. And that is all I have for you guys for today's video. As always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.